Can you just talk about what you saw out of Royce Freeman today? It looked like he got a little mojo back and a little explosiveness. Just how did you feel about the way he played?
Yeah, I thought he ran harder, just plain and simple. We've kind of challenged him the last couple of weeks, and Tony was going to start, and we ended up having kind of an availability issue by him at the beginning of the game. But Royce did seem to run better. Taj Griffin, unfortunately, is out for the season. We lost him this last week in a non-contact deal, but he'll be he's out for the year. And so, this is a good time for Royce to get some of that mojo back.
Questions right here, Ryan, on the right.
Mark, just before the half, you guys had a chance to score and kind of cut into their lead a little bit. Did you think about going for the end zone there, and then what led to kicking the field goal on third down?
Well, there were a couple of things there that happened. I guess we'll call it a miscommunication on where the ball was and what the time was, and then they reset the clock right there at the last second, and just tried to avoid any errors.
At this point, you guys aren't going to be bowl eligible. Obviously, that's really disappointing. But without that to play for now, where do you find the motivation for your guys? What do you hope to see and have them achieve over the next two games?
Find out who rises up and find out what we're made of. Certainly, I don't think at any point you ever. I mean, obviously you're playing to win every single game, every single rep, every single whatever you're doing. If you're a competitor, and now you strip it all the way down to just the essence of who's going to, who's bringing it and who's with us and who's not. Very simple.
You're on the left, Chantel.
Coach, on your left. Hey. I know players kind of feed off the good energy of a stadium. They rally around that. But when the energy in a stadium isn't so good and maybe fans are booing, if you address that, how and when do you address something like that with the team, either going into the week or during the game ever?
Well, we've got to make the right noise, and we'll I've said it to those guys many times. I'll take every bullet for them if they're battling their face off. Whether it's behind the scenes, during practice, during the game, whatever it is. I'll take all that stuff. That's my job, and their job is to focus on how they can compete a little bit better, execute a little bit better, tackle a little better, fit a little bit better. And again, for the vast majority of those guys, they've continued to do that. And that, hey, we're all frustrated. We get it from the fan standpoint, no question.
On the right, Aaron.
Coach, you guys have had some bad days on defense, but most of them came against pretty good offenses. This offense entered today averaging 20 points a game. How shocked are you that they were able to pretty much do whatever they wanted to? They could have scored 7 if they wanted to. And was it a matter of, in part, you guys just not being able to stand up to them, or maybe guys literally gave up at some point?
I didn't see that at all. The latter part of that at all. I didn't see that. Some of those things, it's varied. We have to coach them better. We have to coach them to execute better. The key is, rushing for 280 some yards. You dictate. When you're rushing for 280, you get to pick the ground rules for how to, play action pass and all the other stuff. And so that's where, again, we have to learn to reset the attack and let one play be one play, let one drive be one drive, and come back and compete.
Autzen, right here.
Mark, in hindsight, do you feel like the scheme change on defense was the right move, and do you feel like you have the guys to run the defense you're playing?
Well, obviously, we need to play better on defense. There's no secret about that. We need to play better on offense. We need to play better on special teams, but it has nothing to do with gross overall scheme. There's a lot of teams that run a 3-4. There's a lot of teams that run a 4-3, and a lot of them play great defense.